happy to have everybody here. This is a long time coming. We're so excited to show you guys what's new in Podio. Pass it off to Sumedha, who is our product manager at Podio, who will be telling you all of the cool things.
Thank you, Alison. Thanks a lot. All right. So welcome to the webinar, everybody. It's so good to see so many of you join us. Let's start with a round of introduction. I'm Sumedha. I'm part of the product management team for Podio, and I've been working on Podio for 2+ years now. As a product manager here, my job is to understand our customers' needs better, understand what they want, and then work with the rest of the teams inside of Podio to, solve your needs and bring a feature to life. So today's webinar will be all about the new features that we've added to Podio in this year. One by one, we'll introduce the features to you and we'll demo how you can use them in your everyday work with Podio and make your work with Podio a little bit more easier. So before we start with the webinar and share the agenda for today, I wanted to show you the volume of data that Podio is operating on today. As of this day, we have 2.4 billion items, that is 2.4 billion leads, clients, projects, intake, and more, which are contained in 28.5 million apps, which are used to organize work and operations across organizations. And on top of these apps, we have 3.4 million workflows that have been created to automate work and save hundreds of hours every month. Today, we are operating at a scale which is bigger than many of the products that you have in the market out there, and we are loving the challenge, to be honest. All right, getting right into what is new in Podio. We'll first start with the file upload trigger. Then we'll move on to the new features that we've introduced to make your calculation experience, your experience with the calculation fields better. Then we'll talk about smartphone, which is one of our extensions, and how you can enable this CloudPhone system to your Podio account and get some free credits. And then we look on to the platform improvements that we've made so far in 2023. Saving the best for the last, we'll also give you a short sneak peek into the new table layout, which is currently in beta testing. All right, so file upload as a trigger was one of the most asked features by Podio workflow automation users. For those of you who might not be familiar with what Podio workflow automation is, it's an automation tool where you can create workflows based on a logic that if this happens, then do this action. So file upload as a trigger means you can create workflows to define what to do after a file has been uploaded to an item. What is great about this feature is that file upload is not defined only to files that are uploaded as an attachment to item. It also includes files that were attached via third-party document sharing service like ShareFile or OneDrive, stuff like this. Also, this trigger exposes some of the file tokens as well. So you can use the file name, the file size, the file creator, etc. in the various flows that you build. We'll now move on to a small demo as to how you can use this file upload trigger in your everyday work with Podio.
Welcome to the demo. Today I'll be demoing everything in this client management workspace. Here you can manage everything related to your clients, their projects, the deliverables associated to their projects, their invoices, and so much more. All this is possible with the flexibility that Podio brings in for you. Now this is just for demo purpose, and how you actually organize and manage your client data might differ from one organization to another. For our first feature demo, which is the file upload trigger feature in Podio workflow automation, let us use this deliverables app. Let's say I want to automate how signing off on deliverables happens in my accounting organization. The process today is that the CPA or the accountant who's filing taxes for a client goes to the deliverable, they upload a file over here, they change the status to ready for sign off, they mark the progress as 100%, and then they assign an approver who could be their own manager or somebody senior to them. At the end of the day, they also need to ensure that the approver is notified of this request so that they don't miss out. Now, as you can see, there's easily scope for human error over here. The accountant can forget to update one of these 4 fields, which might lead to delay in approval and hence cause frustration to the client. They can even forget to update the progress field, which might lead to faulty reporting for the organization, etc. So let's eliminate this by using automation based on file upload as the trigger. For this, we go back to the deliverables app. We go to the wrench icon and we choose workflow automation. Now we choose the app on which we want to create an automation, which is deliverables for us. We add a new flow, and since I want this flow to trigger exactly when I upload my file, I'll use file upload as the trigger. So whenever a new file is uploaded in an item, what I want to do is I want to update the item and I want to mark the progress as 100%. I want to change the status of the item to ready for sign off, and I also want to assign an approver to the item. Now over here I'm assigning myself as the approver, but you can have another app that maps if the processor of the item was this person, then the approver should be their manager or some particular person. That's completely possible in Podio. Now at the same time, while we're uploading all these fields, I might want to explicitly reach out to the approver and ensure that they're aware of this request. So I might want to send them a chat message, and I'll send a chat message to Emma, which is me, and I'll say, hi, please review the file, and I can use the file name over here, uploaded by the file creator, maybe even the time at which the upload happened. You can view the file here, and I can even put the file link over here. Now I simply save the flow name as file upload approval trigger, anything that you like, and I can save it. Now let's see how this actually works. So I go to one of the items that's currently in progress. I upload a file from my documents. I mark it as done. And as you can see, my progress is now 100%, my status is ready for sign off, an approver has been added, and because I'm an approver over here, I even got a message from Podio Workflow Automation saying that, hey, please review the file form 1040, which was uploaded by Emma, because I uploaded it at this time, and you can view the file over here, and it even takes me to a link where I can open the file and I can review it. So even though this is just one of the use cases where file upload comes in handy, there could be so many more. You can get notified when your client uploads a file that you asked for, or you can automatically send a file as an email attachment which was uploaded to an item to one of your stakeholders, and the possibilities are just endless.
We'll now move on to calculations. So Podio processes millions of calculations every single day. It's one of the most powerful features of Podio and also one of the most used features of Podio. So we decided to make your calculation field experience a bit more seamless. Now, calculations, when we talk about calculations, they can be of two types. One could be, your normal small calculation when a change in a single value triggers change in maybe one or two places in Podio. Or there could be bulk calculations when a change in a value trickles down a change in multiple places. Small calculations are immediately processed and updated in Podio. However, bulk calculations might need a few seconds because they get queued up for processing. Hence, till now, there was no way for our users to know if a calculation field has been updated or if it is awaiting processing, that is, if it is queued up. So we introduced visual indicators to show you the same. You can see in the screenshot, if my calculation is currently in the queue, I will see calculating over here, and whenever it gets processed correctly, I'll see last updated along with the timestamp. There was also a need to be able to quickly refresh calculations in an item in order to be doubly sure that the value that you see is correct and is the latest value. So we also introduced the ability to refresh calculations as an action in the actions dropdown. How you can use these, visual indicators in your everyday life is again something that I'll be demoing right now.
Now let's see how the calculation visual indicators come in handy in the projects app. For any service provider, client projects are their bread and butter. Here in this setup, we can see that research estimate and tax filing estimate is what makes up for project value, which is one of the most important indicators that a service provider would take. We can see how this calculation happens by going and visiting the calculation field over here. So project value is a function of research estimate plus tax filing estimate into hourly rate. Suppose I realize that one of my projects which is currently in progress, the research estimate seems to be a bit less. I will require more than 4 hours, say 4 hours 30 minutes, and I update the same over here. Now, as soon as I make this change, my project value should accordingly increase. And I can see over here that the project value got increased, and I can see the last updated timestamp, which is the new feature that we introduced. We can see that it was last updated in the same minute as right now. So hence, I can be rest assured that my project value, which is one of the most important metrics that I track, is correct and reflects the change that I just made. This looks like a simple scenario, but there are times when changing a value somewhere in your Podio setup triggers multiple changes. For example, if a change is made in a single item field which is referenced by multiple items, the single change there can trickle down in the various calculation fields of all the child items that make use of a value in that calculation. In such a bulk calculation situation, there may be a time when calculation is queued up and the user should know that. This can be seen over here. So I have the rate card for 2023 and I'm going to make a small change over here. Now this change should reflect in all of my projects because my rate card for an hour is changed in all of the projects. Now as soon as I make this change and I go back to this, which is one of my projects, I can see that my hourly rate is currently being calculated. This is because it triggers multiple calculations to some 3000 projects that I have. So it might take some time for the correct hourly rate to reflect over here. As soon as this gets reflected, this will then show me the timestamp of when the calculation was completed. So let me refresh it again and check if this is complete. Yes, as you can see, the calculation got completed even though it was queued up in the earlier screen, and now it's completed and it shows us the timestamp. since Podio is used to store really important information like invoice amount, amount payable, amount receivable, etc., users would feel much more confident if they know the calculations are up to date, and for this very reason you might want to manually trigger a refresh in calculations. You can do this from the action drop down over here and click on refresh calculations. So let's do it for a project that was not refreshed right now. So maybe I'll go to this project, and yep, it was refreshed at 11:44. Let's go to actions and let's refresh calculations for this. We can now see that the calculations were refreshed in this very minute, which is 11:46. This can assure you that the item is currently up to date and the calculations have been refreshed in the exact minute that you're seeing it. Now, in order to ensure that this option is not overused, we only allow calculation refresh once in an hour, and if you hit the limit, you will see this error message pop up.
Calculation visual indicators are definitely helpful to know the current status of your calculation. But another long pending addition to calculation field tokens was the item ID. Now, item ID is a unique identifier for an item in entire Podio, and it differs from unique ID, which is already an exposed token in the calculation field, in the sense that the unique ID is only unique to that particular app. So now let's see how item ID available in the calculation field can be used by you.
Now let's see how can you use the item ID token, which has now been exposed in the calculation field, to make your work easier. Let's go to the modified template. We'll create two calculation fields, one which will simply be the item ID and one which will give you the item URL. Now, item ID is nothing but a unique identifier, and here is how you can pull this token into your template. This will give a unique identifier to all items in this app, and you can use this item ID, this unique identifier, to search for any particular item when you're creating automations. So you might want to, reference a particular item all the time, and you can do this in automations by simply using this item ID. Now for the item URL, you can create something like podio.com/xyz abc item/item ID. Now let's see how this works. So when I go to this item and I refresh it once, it will have both my item ID and my item URL. This I can use in Podio automation, Podio workflow automation, to reference to this item ID. And this is a unique identifier, a unique URL that will always take me to this item ID no matter what. The advantage over here is that even if the app name changes, even if the workspace name changes, even if the organization name changes, this URL will still bring me to this particular item.
All right. So next time when you are, bookmarking an item, or you want to bookmark an item, you can definitely use the item ID as, a way to always have access to that item all the time. All right. So moving on to the smartphone voucher, which is now available for premium users. So the Podio team are not the only ones that work towards improving Podio. We have a unique partner community that has over the years built some great extensions on top of Podio to serve various use cases and enhance what Podio can do for you. One such extension is Smartphone, which was used by a large number of Podio premium users. Smartphone is an all-in-one communication platform for sales-driven businesses via voice, text, power dialing, etc., where everything comes and syncs back to Podio. So in 2023, we partnered with Smartphone for any Podio premium organization to get $100 worth of free credit when they create a new account with Smartphone. A few things that you need to keep in mind for this is that the voucher is only applicable to organizations on a premium plan. It is applicable only to new Smartphone accounts, and it can only be redeemed by employee users and not external users. A small disclaimer here, Smartphone is a third-party extension and it's not a part of Podio. And in order to use it, you need to create an account which is outside of Podio with the Podio partner. I will now show you a small video of, how can you avail this extension if you're on the premium plan, and you can get started with $100 worth of instant credit.
In order to avail the Smartphone voucher and get the $100 of instant credit, all you need to do is go to the extension voucher offer option over here. You need to read and agree the terms of service. This is because Smartphone is an extension provided by one of our partners, and it's not built by Podio and maintained by Podio in any way. After you agree to it, all you need to do is click on the redeem voucher and then continue to Smartphone. From here, you'll be redirected to Smartphone's website, and all that you need to do is sign up with your email ID, and you'll get the instant credit of $100 in your Smartphone account.
All right. So in one of the previous slides, as we saw that Podio is operating at a scale which is never seen before, that brings the need not only for enhanced features, all the features that you saw before, but also the need to enhance the platform. For this, the platform engineering team is continuing to keep their focus on security for Podio, which has led us to introduce some new data deletion policies this year, and also to comply to compliance standards like SOC, HIPAA, GDPR, etc. Apart from this, we are also focused on scalability and reliability to get you improved search, to get you, more improved APIs, and to maintain 100% uptime for the platform. As a result of this initiative, we made a 24% improvement in the API response time, which leads to faster response rate on Podio website and also a better experience for third-party developers who are using API. And our goal is to make Podio definitely faster than Red Bull Racing. All right, so now let's see what's cooking. We all hope that the new changes that we've introduced this year were well received by our audience today. And since you were able to make it today to the webinar, we also wanted to give you a sneak peek into what the team is currently working on, which is the new and improved table layout to organize your work and to have, more of capabilities like inline editing. So in Podio, as you know, we have multiple layouts, all that you can see over here. You can see all your data in Podio in a Kanban style card layout, a badge layout, a table layout, a calendar layout, or even an activity layout. Looking at the volume of data that is, used by our customers and stored by our customers, it's no surprise that the table layout, seems to be the most used layout in all of Podio. So we decided to bring to our users a much more improved table layout with some more features like the ability to reorder columns, the ability to change column width, the ability to fix the column headers, pin columns, and just a table layout which is much faster than the old one. This feature is currently in beta testing, and the users can switch to the new table layout from the switch layout option that you see over here. What is lined up after this is introducing inline editing, the ability to edit some fields from the layout itself without going to the item details page. So let's see the last demo for today, which is the demo of the new table layout. And here we go.
What you see on your screen over here is the new table layout. And what you see in this tab is the old table layout. We'll now compare both these layouts and introduce you to the new features which are part of the new table layout. The first feature I want to talk about is the ability to change column width. As you can see, you can seamlessly change the column width in the new table layout. You can make it more narrow or more wider depending on how you want to view your data. This was also possible in the old table layout, but it was not as seamless as it is now. The second feature I want to show you is the ability to reorder columns just by dragging and dropping. There are situations where you might want to see some columns next to each other and draw some comparison. For example, in the projects app, you might want to see the project value, which is the column over here, right next to the project name in order to the organization name, in order to understand which organization is worth how many dollars for me. So you can do this simply by dragging and dropping the columns, and this is much more seamless now. This is not possible in the old table layout. What you could do in the old table layout is go to modify templates and reorder the fields over there in order for the columns to show up that way. One of the major asks from our customers for the old table layout was also to have the headers fixed. So, if I scroll down, I can not make out which value belongs to which column or what value denotes what. However, in the new table layout, if you scroll down, the header remains frozen, so it's easy for you to understand that this is the research estimate. However, this is the tax filing estimate. We've also introduced the ability to pin a column. This simply brings that column in the front. So if you pin a column, say project value, you'll see project value appears in the front. You can pin more than one columns together. So you can pin this along with the status, along with the organization, and you can view all of this data together. Apart from this, on larger data sets which contain tens and thousands of rows, the new table layout is much faster to load compared to the old table layout.
All right, so this is it for the presentation today. I hope that these new features come in handy for you and your organization. We have many more cool features planned for Podio in the future. So in order to stay updated on them, please subscribe to our product news